Hello everyone, and welcome back to the State of Social. We're at our last session of the day. We're joined by Laura from Dreamdata. We'll be going through social selling and determining if it is really driving revenue. So I'm really looking forward to this talk, and hopefully you are all as well. Just to let you know, if you do have any questions for Laura, please ask them in the questions tab, and we'll have some time at the end to go through all of them, hopefully. And yeah, passing it over to Laura now, and I'll be turning off my mic.
Thank you very much. So good afternoon, good morning, everybody who's joining the session. It's a pleasure meeting you today. And today we're going to be talking about revenue generation through social and like kind of how to find out if social selling is actually driving revenue. My session is going to be around 20 minutes, so there will be time to ask questions a little later at the end. So be sure to post them over in the chat. So let's get going. So since Francesca is going to switch the slides, I'm going to be saying next slide every time. So on the next slide. So what we're going to cover today is that, first of all, I'm going to tell you a bit more about Dreamdata's social selling story. Like, how did we start? What happened there? What kind of results did we see, all in all, of the activity itself? And after that, we're going to talk about the revenue generation of social selling, all in all. Next slide. So everything with social selling at Dreamdata started with an experiment. First of all, well, everybody's saying it's like Dreamdata, we need to start posting regularly, and because everybody's there reading out your posts and everybody's saying, oh, it's going to drive much more revenue, we have to be there outside and so on. So looking back into some statistics, it's actually pretty mind-blowing. What LinkedIn is saying that out of 260 million monthly users, only 1% share posts weekly. 1% of 260 million LinkedIn monthly users. That's pretty crazy. Though, another thing is that 40% of all of those are accessing LinkedIn regularly. That means that people are coming into LinkedIn and passively collecting the information. So if you're not there posting on LinkedIn, that means somebody else is. And your audience is reading the posts. You're doing that yourself. So for us, with that information, we have agreed that we will start posting regularly. No huge ambitions. We just knew that we needed to be out there where our clients are. B2Bs are highly represented in LinkedIn, so we just needed to be there. And in addition to that, very luckily, we're selling to the marketing leaders, and LinkedIn is where people are hanging out. So that is really nice. On the next slide, I have an example of one single post that has taken off the whole experiment to a long-lasting strategy. So out of that kind of slow start of we will start posting regularly and so on, I have posted my own experience with a client. It was a very genuine post where I spoke about a story, how I've closed a client. A very genuine, I was very happy. It was one of the first clients that I've closed at Dreamdata. And the post has accelerated by one of the LinkedIn influencers commenting on it. It was a half critical comment about attribution and that it doesn't really work. And we've heard some of the critics already, and we do hear that all the time. But that has accelerated the post that has been seen close to 40,000 times on LinkedIn. And that was huge because for us, usually a post reaches 1,000, 2,000 views at a time. So imagine 40,000 by that time. So if you click one more time, Francesca, then I've got a bit more information saying that, yes, 40,000 views of the post. But another thing that we've noticed was that Dreamdata website visits had the best day ever. And It was even better than the day that we have announced our funding announcement. That was really amazing. And for MQLs produced, we had the best week ever as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So imagine how many people have seen us on LinkedIn for the first time. So out of this story, what we've agreed with the team was, let's make it a target for ourselves to start posting regularly. Let's find our own pace, how we want to post, what we want to do, and so on. I started posting daily. And if you enjoy talking about marketing and revenue attribution, feel free to follow me. We can have a chat together. So our target with the team was that we will start posting regularly, and we agreed to reach 300,000 views in a quarter. That's cheap marketing. We've agreed to do that, and if we do it, then we're going to go for a dinner together. That's pretty easy to do. And on the next slide, you can see the results. We reached the goal. That was easy to reach. I think we were 7 people, so 300,000 was a definitely easy goal to reach for all of us. We reached 520,000 views in a quarter. That was really big. We were really excited. So if you click one more time, then there's a full story of what we have agreed that and was working for us while posting on LinkedIn. So the very important thing is that we focus on quality storytelling. Storytell as if you were telling to a friend, but what you're talking about is of good quality that people can consume and are able to learn something out of the posts. We post multiple times per week. It depends on very much on the personality, how people like to post. I post daily. There are colleagues of mine that post a couple of times a week, and we support each other in that journey. Some of those are better with words, then we reuse some of the content and so on. Never overthink it. A post should not take more than 15 minutes for you to create, and out with it. Share your content, the content that you like. I mix a lot, personal and company posts, and we really cheer each other. Every time we post, we share our posts in Slack channel, so we're able to help each other out a little bit with the algorithm as well to get a better reach. But it really helps because then we know that all of us are active and all of us are together in this. So that was fantastic. We reached the goal, but that was not it. On the next slide, you can see the full journey of what happened after. Sam, my colleague, he posted recently on LinkedIn, and his post reached 680,000 views. It's kind of, imagine how many people have seen Dreamdata's brand for the first time out of those 680,000 views. The fun thing is that even the person who's in the picture, one of the girls from the meme, has reached out to Sam saying, hey, that's me. It's kind of, when talking about virality, we thought that we've reached high with my post back at the beginning, but then now we've got a new hate to go after. And then, of course, we had a dinner, and we constantly cheer each other for doing better, which is fantastic. And from here, we're going to move on into talking about the revenue attribution. So on the next slide, we have a real view of the results that Dreamdata talks most about when talking about social selling, and all in all about the multi-touch attribution. So next slide. B2 multi-touch game is for B2Bs. This view is a regular journey for Dreamdata. So on average, our clients are touching us and our content for over 60 times. So for us to close a deal from the first time they see us up till we close an agreement with a client, it takes an average 60 sessions. The modern buyer journey is more hands-off than ever before. Accounts rely on a huge number of touches from across sources to gain trust about your brand and eventually buy. And this large increase in post views, as you're seeing, most likely drives a lot of word of mouth as Dreamdata becomes the brand where people want to mention B2B attribution, revenue attribution. And imagine if some of those posts that we're making and views that we're showing to the people on LinkedIn can remove some of the sales meetings that might be needed and some of the times that we need to direct our traffic over to Dreamdata to start the journeys. So the more visual you are on LinkedIn and the more people know about what you stand for, the easier it is to hit the average sessions through social as well as an additional source. So on the next slide, you're able to see some of the results we've seen from my first post, only with 40,000 views that it has reached. So every successful post drives up website traffic on the day it happens, and then it also feeds the retargeting audience as well, and then converting to the leads, MQLs, and free signups for Dreamdata as well. So with that single post back then, MQLs could be attributed to LinkedIn as first touch. That curve 3-doubled for us. So 3 times more first touch as LinkedIn channel we were able to attribute for our signups. MQLs as direct have doubled after that single post. And now on this one, there is no direct attribution to be done, but all things equal, we think that social is driving most of it. And the awareness gained is driving the increase in the MQLs at that time. There are a couple more results, that very unexpected results that started happening. One of them I'm really happy for is the activation of the dead accounts. We have been working a lot on outbound to start with, reaching out to clients, trying our best with messaging, with videos, and so on. And the results, those could be better. But in a longer run, we started getting accounts back to us saying, oh, this revenue attribution, we have been thinking about it. Can we have a chat about it? We have tried to tell you that like a couple of months ago, maybe half a year ago, but they started to be reactivated again, which is really, really nice. And out of that, we started kind of to define one new way of talking about reaching the clients. Usually you've got outbound, what sales that, what I used to do a lot to get in outbound clients into Dreamdata. Then we've got the inbound clients, the ones that come through our marketing channels. But how about those channels, clients that come in, we have been trying to get them inbound, they came outbound. Usually we start talking about them as all-bound deals, because everything we do in sales and marketing, it creates a deal for us, and it's fantastic. The last thing that happened, that was possibly not the last one, but one of the significant was we started being invited to podcasts and webinars to talk about our story, to talk about revenue attribution. People wanted to start writing articles about that, which is also fantastic, because we used to pitch ourselves to be able to get written on some articles or get invited to the podcast. Even this one was started through LinkedIn. That's amazing. So on the next slide, we've got another story about attribution itself. So how can we actually attribute this? So thanks to our platform on Dreamdata, we can plot the touches onto one customer journey map and link the activities directly to pipeline and revenue generation. And that's how the magic happens. So if you know that your client came in first touch through a social channel and further came into webinars, got the demo request, so you're able to attribute the full journey from a sign up all the way to new business created. The tracking script sitting on our site logs every user event happening on our site. Initially, all will have our events linked to an anonymous ID. And once the user identifies herself through a form submission, then we can start enriching the profile and eventually the account itself. And yep, as you can see it, Dreamdata's attribution is account-based. So it is pure for B2Bs working with more than one person in the customer journey. And our platform models the data to enable us to attribute activities to revenue and map the account-based customer journey, giving us absolute solid proof of what's actually touches the deal actually. So crucially, on whether or not our LinkedIn social selling post had any role in the customer journey. And it has, because we can see that on the touches for each and every deal that has been touched by Dreamdata social selling. And at the last slide, we can see more or less, oh, it's not the last one, it's one before the last. So this is, yeah, that's right, just switch it back, that's fine. Next one. Yeah, this one. This is an actual customer journey. This is an example that we've plotted for you to have a look of how does a customer journey, a typical customer journey for Dreamdata looks like. We've got a free product as well that customers can try out. So we could see that we had a social touch in March. Then later, 3 more touches have been generated where somebody came into our platform to read a blog, came in directly, or Google some term, and later we were able to see when the discovery started happening. So we're plotting in the meetings had with the clients, the calls where sales was involved in the full customer journey, including other touches as soon as there is a social touch or organic or direct or whatever else. And then we are starting to map when the clients started their proof of concept with our free tool as well, going in directly. So this is a very typical customer journey. And now there's coming in the last slide. So here are suggestions to you. First of all, start posting. Your prospects are out there. Do it on LinkedIn. If you're B2B, it's fantastic. I promise you that. You will not regret it. Start tracking your customer journeys through a customer data platform or whatever else. Reach out to us, test it out if it works with you with Dreamdata, and start mapping account journeys to pipeline stages, all the way to deals closing. And keep on going. It will give us rewards. That's it.
Thank you so much. That was a really great story, and we really love to see the real stats and the data behind it. You know, giving real examples like that is really helpful, and I hope our audience here found it just as helpful as I did. Just wanted to put out a last call for any questions of any of you guys who are listening today. If you have, you know, any questions about Dreamdata, about the experience that she shared, or social selling in general, we have a few minutes left, so don't hesitate.
No worries.
We do have one thanks. So thank you in return, and you're welcome.
Feel free to follow us if you want some examples of how it's ongoing at Dreamdata. We're very open to share how did we start, because it's not an easy thing to start sharing as a company-wide strategy. You just have to start getting excited by yourselves and get your team excited with stuff like social selling.
We have 2 questions that have come up. So one from Pablo. He asks, which method do you use to follow so closely the journey of your customers?
So we've got the first party tracking on our website. And as soon as anybody comes into our website, we're able to plot where they're coming from with an anonymous ID. And as soon as they identify themselves further into the journey, doesn't matter which touch it is, then we're able to see where in the customer journey they have touched us through social. It could be that it's not the first touch, it could be that it was the last touch, or anywhere in the journey, then maybe on the linear attribution model, then we would also be able to see it.
Okay. Great answer. We have a question from Farah, who asks about social selling through other platforms for B2C. Do you have any experience or anything to share about that?
No, unfortunately. I actually have been dreaming about TikTok a little bit. I don't know how it works for B2Cs, but I've seen that it started to sneak into B2Bs as well, very slowly. Not sure how it's going to work. It could be that we're going to test it out as well. But I don't have any experiences from B2C. I'm sorry for that.
Okay. We have a question from Dominique. She asks, we have Google Ads activated with a custom-built website. We know we're generating sales from Google Ads, but we can't say which leads came from it. Could Dreamdata help with this?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, for sure. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn because we're able to plot not only Google Ads, but all of your ad platforms, including organic channels as well. So you're able to see where in the journey those ads are being successful. So you can scale the ones which content you were supposed to be scaling, which keywords and so on, because you'll be able to see them directly attributed to revenue closed and deals created.
Amazing. Do we have any more last questions? Well, we have a few minutes left. I do highly recommend everyone to connect with Laura on LinkedIn. I can personally attest that her posts are very good quality and will add some extra value to your feed if you're interested in any kind of marketing attribution or just generally improving, the kind of conversation between marketing and sales, which is a big issue in a lot of companies, I know.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much, Francesca.
All right. I don't see any more questions coming in now, but if you do think of any after this session is over, then feel free to send us an email, marketing@mention.com, or to get in touch with Laura as she suggested on LinkedIn. And I'd like to thank all of you for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you learned something new. And have a great evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And hopefully I get to speak to you soon at one of our later events.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.